The time is almost here. We are roughly about 3 months from the release of the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 because both are slated for holiday 2020. We continually see reports that the components are on track, everything is going to be on time, it looks like things are actually going to be launching even in the midst of a pandemic. A next generation is a very big deal. We haven't seen a new generation of consoles since 2013, and you can definitely tell the world has changed a lot since 2013. More people are gaming than ever, and it is coming to be that time whenever people begin to decide what they want for their first next generation console. Do they want Team Xbox or do they want Team PlayStation? For many people, including myself, buying both consoles right off the bat is not really that appealing of an option. That's over $1,000, and that's not even including games, assuming that both are priced roughly around $500 to $600. So which side do you go with? Do you choose Microsoft's Xbox Series X or do you choose PlayStation's PlayStation 5? I've been thinking about this a lot over the course of the past few weeks, and I'm beginning to come to the realization of why choose either? At least right now. We all play into this news cycle each and every day that generates hype for a new machine, and in a lot of ways it will be the next big thing, it being the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 5 depending on which one you want to go with. But when you really take a step back and look at what these consoles are bringing to the table this holiday season, they both leave a lot to be desired. On the PlayStation side, you have the PlayStation 5, and the one big exclusive that has been confirmed so far is Spider-Man Miles Morales. That is the big flagship game. It's essentially a standalone DLC. Now, will it be very large? Absolutely. Does it supposedly include a copy of 2018's Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4 that has been revamped? Yes, but that's also a game that many people have already played and that will be backwards compatible as well. On the Xbox side of things, you have another big flagship game, Halo Infinite. That's also coming out on the Xbox One as well as the PC. So both of these aren't necessarily big console sellers, even though they are the flagship games that are coming this holiday season. Then you have these other big games that have emerged, one being Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The game looks very interesting. I've watched all of the 30 minutes of gameplay that we've seen, give or take, but this game is coming out on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, as well as the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 and the PC. So if you have a console that's come out within the past roughly 10 years, you can play this game. On top of that, another big PlayStation 5 exclusive is Godfall, but that's a console exclusive. You can also play that on PC. There are so many of these little intricacies that ultimately we don't really know the full launch lineup, but even in August, it's looking relatively lacking. Now, of course, in the future, there are plenty of games that are going to diversify both of the ecosystems on the Xbox and PlayStation sides. You have so many PlayStation exclusives that are inevitably going to be in the works. That gets me very excited. On the Xbox side of things, there are all these brand new Microsoft Game Studios companies that are making incredible exclusives like Fable. On top of that, there is inevitably going to be a new Gears of War and so many new IP as well. Both sides are very exciting, and a new generation console will pay off in the long run, but do you necessarily need one at launch? Not really. The way that I see it, if you have a PlayStation 4 Pro or an Xbox One X, you have very good hardware as it stands, and it will be able to play the newest games that are coming out from most third parties for the next roughly year or so, perhaps even more. And so, do you need a new generation console? Not necessarily, unless you want these new experiences, and for the first 6 months or so of both of these console cycles, those will be relatively lacking. In fact, even myself, as somebody who makes YouTube videos and podcasts, I'm considering just waiting for a few months until we really see what bells and whistles these consoles have and which kinks can be worked out before I fully jump on board, because it's not really a necessity to buy a new piece of hardware right at launch. Ultimately, I'm making this video to say that you don't need to feel compelled to buy a new console. You don't need to feel like if you don't get a console this year that it's the end of the world, because so many people can get caught up in this hype. So many people can get caught up in the excitement of a new generation of consoles. And don't get me wrong, it is very exciting. But coming out of the gate, it might not be as exciting as many in the gaming industry are making it out to be.